Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the love and light that is Unity of Lawrence. I'm so grateful that you're all with us today. Welcome to this beautiful January 31st Sunday, the last Sunday in January. As you all are aware, we begin everything in Unity with prayer. So let's join our prayer chaplain, Karen, as we will begin our service by opening to that divine presence within us.
Good morning. Let's take a big breath in and release, and another breath in and let it out. We center ourselves in this now moment where the present and the power is. And we know that the presence of God is within us and all around us. And we know that all is well. We give thanks that we can come together in this time and that we can share in that presence that lives within us, and that we can hold forth the light of love that lives within us. And we take another breath in and release and relax into, centered down into the very presence of goodness, of the universe that lives us through and through. We relax into the space of Godness within us. And we are prepared and ready and open to the message and to the music and to the love that we share. For this we give great thanks. Amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, Karen. Please join Holly in singing I Am the Thinker by Sue Riley.
Good morning, Unity of Lawrence, and welcome, everyone. Sing along with me if you know this one. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that have the power to change my life. And if you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light, bright in someone's darkest night. There's so much more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Thank you, Holly, for that uplifting song. And now, as you all know, it's time for our unity intentions. Please affirm with me unity's founding principle. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And finally, our Unity of Lawrence mission. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. For our special music today, we have Catherine Lorenzon. She is a singer-songwriter in Kansas City who wrote her first song at age 11 and her latest one just last week. In between, she has played with many different bands and as a solo artist, and she's been fortunate enough to win some songwriting awards and have her songs used in TV and film. Catherine works as a career coach, helping people through job search and career transition, and she is also a trained creativity coach. Yes. She has a new CD coming out this fall, and you can find her music on Spotify and YouTube. As always, she is grateful for the chance to share with the Unity of Lawrence community and sends a special greeting to her friends in Lawrence. Welcome, Catherine.
Love, love, love. Love is a river of light and soul, a river of light and soul. Let us rise now and go to the river. Let us go. Let us go to the river of love, love, love. Let us go. Let us go to the river of love. Joy, joy, joy. Joy is a river of light and soul, a river of light and soul. Let us rise now and go to the river. Let us go. Let us go to the river of joy, joy, joy. Let us go. Let us go to the river of joy. Peace, peace, peace. Peace is a river of light and soul. Let us go to the river of love, love, love. Let us go. Let us go to the river of love. Let us go to the river of love, love, love. Let us go to the river of love. Let us go to the river of love, love, love. Love, love, love.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Catherine. Our speaker today is Jay Pryor. They are an executive coach and facilitator of corporate trainings and workshops around the world. They are the author of the acclaimed book, Lean Inside, 7 Steps to Personal Power, a Practical Guide to Transformation for Women, and co-host of the podcast, Doing the Work with Jay and Becca, devoted to awakening people to their own power to transform their lives. Jay lives with their wife, Jessica, and 2 children in Lawrence, Kansas. Welcome, Jay.
Thank you, John. Am I still on mute? No. Okay. I don't think so. Okay, I'm not. Good morning and welcome. It's so great to see you all and so great to be with you. If you don't know me, again, my name is Jay Pryor and I'm a lay member of this congregation. And so it is my joy always to be able to be here at Unity. I do a lot of speaking or did a lot of speaking pre-pandemic. And so it's a lot of fun for me to step on a stage that is my home stage. It's my home people and to be with my people. So I am thrilled to be with you today to talk about spiritual resilience. And when Kathy asked me for a topic for the talk, this word resilience kept coming to my mind. And, you know, given this pandemic that we're in and that we've lived through this last 2020, resilience is a huge topic. People, you know, are you resilient enough? How do you build resilience? How do you stay resilient? And especially in the coaching world, which is where I am, in the coaching industry, the word resilience is always there. So I started thinking about the fact that I know for myself that I am a resilient human being and that I can count on myself for that. In fact, I've often told people I'm kind of like one of those bozo dolls that when I was growing up, they were for littler kids because they came behind me. But there were these blow up dolls, right? That had like Bozo the Clown. You could punch them, but then they just pop right back up, right? We also had this toy that when I was a lot younger called Weebles. When those things first came out, and the commercial was Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down, right? And so you could punch Bozo and he'd come back, and these little Weebles, you could knock them, but they would never really fall over. They'd just bounce back. So resilience, the definition, the real definition, right? According to the dictionary on the Google, is a capacity to recover quickly from difficulties or a toughness. So when I saw that, I thought, well, no wonder, right? I can count on myself to be resilient because one of the things I know that I decided when I was a little kid was that I needed to be tough. So if you don't know my whole story, I am a transgender human. I'm genderqueer. I've been an out member of the LGBTQIA community since the 80s. And one of the things we know about the LGBTQ community are the people who have been out for a long time often show up as people who are very resilient. Because obviously, if you're going to be different in the world and express yourself, that requires you to, kind of bounce back sometimes. I myself have had, friends who were my lifelong friends until I came out, and then they decided not to be my friends anymore. And those are kind of things that you have to bounce back from. So I know myself as someone who is resilient. But then what is spiritual resilience? Like, what does that mean? So I started thinking about the fact that for myself, anyway, this has been something that has been fostered in me since I was a child. So I was raised in a very devout Catholic home, the kind of home where my dad prayed the rosary every night. I was in a town of 500 people. My family was the choir, basically, because I'm the youngest of 9. And so we were very, very involved in the church. And so from a very early age, I was taught that going to God first was the answer all the time, right? Just go to God. And so as I matured, as I, explored my own faith and ultimately ended up as a New Thought student, a truth student in Unity, I brought with me this resilience, right? This always go to God first. And for me, that's just how it's been, right? I go to God first. But the way it was before, right, when I was a Catholic or whenever I was not really understanding the way we know our source here at Unity, which before we go anywhere else, the one thing I love to remind you of is our principles at Unity, and especially the one that we say every Sunday, that there is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, and that is God, the source, right? The source of all good. And the thing that I always like to remind you is that second principle of Unity, that if God is everywhere and everything, that includes me, right? That means they're right here. And so before I came to Unity, when I would go to God first, it was usually in those times when it was like, oh my God, please, right? As I'm like doing something stupid, or I'm about to get in trouble, or think I've got harm coming to me, it's a God, right? First thing, right? First thing out of my mouth is, please God, don't know what, right, like that. Over the last 10 to 20 years, as I've explored my own spirituality and built a new foundation for myself spiritually, I have brought that resilience with me, but it's completely shifted in how I call myself spiritually resilient now. I am still someone who always goes to God first. It's the first thing I say when I wake up in the morning is thank you, God. It is the first place I go if I need solace, if I need support, is my spiritual community, my spiritual people, and my source. And so for me, it's easy to do this. But looking back, if I really look over the last 10 years, I have really built a foundation for this resilience, right? I created this, and I really did it without even knowing it. I just did it because I was doing what I do and working on my own spirituality. But I have really built a foundation for spiritual resilience that really serves me quite well. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about how that shows up for me and how I think you can build the muscle of spiritual resilience if you don't already have it. One of the things that I want you to note is that might be a sign that you could work on this, especially is if you're someone who ruminates, right? Someone who worries or ruminates or stews, if that's where your brain is, we want to really start interrupting those patterns, right? Interrupting those thought patterns. In our world, in the world of Unity and the world of metaphysics, we know how powerful our thoughts are. It's one of our founding principles, right? Our thoughts held in mind create after their kind. So we want to be, we're guardians of our thoughts. So if you're somebody who ruminates or who worries and who can get fixated on one thing, this is you. You want to really listen. You want to really hone in and listen to this today, because building a muscle in spiritual resilience, like anything else, is a muscle, right? So you have to work it. You cannot expect yourself to be physically resilient if you don't do anything to take care of yourself, right? If you don't do anything to take care of yourself, you can't expect yourself to bounce back physically from anything that might come at you. So if you don't have a strong spiritual muscle, same principle applies. It's the same with everything. You have to build a muscle. You can't walk into a gym and expect yourself to bench 250 first time in the gym if you've never worked out and never lifted a weight. And the same is true for spirituality and anything else that you want to create in your life and have it be powerful and have it be at the ready when you need it, right? That's the thing about building and practicing spiritual resilience is then when you need it, it's right there, right? And you know you can count on it. You don't even have to worry about it. It's right there. You have all the support you need. So the first step, I think, in building spiritual resilience is focusing on gratitude, right? Gratitude in terms of resilience is one of the best places that you can go to. If you can be someone who goes to gratitude before you go to misery, gloom, and doom, right? That's a practice. Now, by now, if you're a grown adult, you have a pattern that is already in your neocortex. So you have a pattern in your brain that when something happens, you think this way, right? It's just a zoom, automatic pattern. Now, some of you will all have different patterns depending on the subject, right? Money, for example, could be, and it's something I'm still working. I am really working on my resilience and my abundance consciousness, right? I'm working on my success consciousness, my abundance consciousness, because I want to be somebody who automatically has a thought that abundance is there. Up until now, I have been someone that can get scared about money, right? I can see something, oh, we have this big bill due, or I have something happen, and I can get scared first, right? Seize up. With other things, for example, not money, relationships, anything like, especially work-wise or community-wise, people-wise, if something comes up for me, it's an automatic go-to for me to think of the positive actions that I can start to work on. Like it's an automatic brain thing for me to automatically go into, oh, okay, I can do this, right? I can do thisness. That is resilience. I can do thisness is resilience. And so I still have a muscle to build around money, around relationships, and around a lot of other things. I've got a strong muscle. And I continue to build that muscle. Gratitude and being able to go to optimism first rather than gloom and doom first, right? Some of you are wired to go to the worst case scenario, and that's okay, but you can undo that, right? And part of the way that you can undo that is by fostering this gratitude muscle, like practicing the gratitude muscle. Now, how do you do that? Well, you have to practice, first of all. You cannot expect yourself to be good at something, even a gratitude practice, just like that. Imagine someone hands you a clarinet and you've never played the clarinet. Can you imagine how horrible you would be? A clarinet in particular you have to hold your mouth a certain way. It's like an oboe even worse. Like you have to hold your mouth a certain way, right? I can't play an oboe. And if I tried, it would sound horrible, right? The very first time I picked it up. But if I practiced and if I had a teacher and started to work on that, right, then I could get better at it. Spiritual resilience is the same. You have to practice. So you have to find a way to start practicing, shifting your thoughts from gloom and doom to I can get this figured out, or gloom and doom to things are always working out for me. What can I be grateful for? How can I focus on something to be grateful for rather than something I'm afraid of? It takes practice. Now, that practice could start with you texting a few people, like having support. It could start with you having a gratitude journal every day. Now, here's something important about gratitude is we as humans have a tendency to want to be in patterns of routine. So we'll get in a pattern of being grateful for your dog every day. We're always grateful for our dogs. We love our dogs, and that's awesome. But if you do not stretch the brain to look for other things to be grateful for, you're not stretching. Right? You got to stretch this thing. And that's the whole point of it, right? So to look for new things to be grateful for every day, put your brain on point to start looking for new things to be grateful for. So just to point a couple of points about the brain. So your brain is elastic, by the way. It is completely elastic. I am in a course right now with my favorite neuroscientist. Her name is Dr. Sarah McKay, and she wrote the Woman's Brain book, essentially. And I'm doing a course with her right now. In the beginning of the course, and I've taken courses with her before, she always reiterates how elastic our brain is. And even up to the point where my last lesson just last week was focused on the idea that in this moment, even every experience you have, If you walk out today and you have some experience, it puts an impression on your brain, and your brain can shift and change, right? So you actually have the capacity to learn anything new. You have the capacity to wipe away old patterns of behavior because your brain is elastic. So we can train it, right? Just like playing the oboe, though, you have to practice, and it takes practice and it takes repetition. So by focusing on gratitude on a regular, right, flexing that muscle, you're starting to actually shift your brain to start going to gratitude first. It's how it works. Training your brain is very important. So focusing on gratitude is huge. The next piece that we've had studies off the charts about how good meditation is for your brain. Anybody who studies any level of neuroscience can tell you that meditation is powerful. But in Unity, it's one of our principles, right? It's one of the ways that we say that we connect to our source, right? And if you don't have a meditation practice, then I want to highly, highly recommend that you start a practice. And I'm not talking about once a week, sitting down and deciding I'm stressed out, so I need to meditate. I am talking about a regular, like every single day you meditate practice. And I invite you to practice so much that you explore all different kinds of ways to meditate and to connect. Because what I want you to practice, more than just say practice meditation, is to practice connecting up. When Karen brought us into service today, she starts, and Karen always starts, and I love it when Karen prays. She always starts by saying, we're going to connect. So I get moved even thinking about it. We're going to connect to that divine presence that is within you. That divine presence isn't just in some of you, right? It's just in Jay, right? No, divine presence is in all of us, right? It is in you. It is within you, right? So I want you to practice connecting to it, right? Because here's what I know. When you practice connecting, inevitably, right, what will happen to you is that you will start to experience and know yourself as someone who is loved. Now, that may be a stretch for a couple of you, but I want you to listen to me and hear this bigger than anything else. That source, that force that some people call God, that some people call the universe, that presence adores you. Like the love that can come from that presence. And when you get connected to it, see, it overwhelms me. It's so big, right? And I am someone, I'm someone that in my past, when I was a young person, really hated my own guts. Like I did not like myself at all. And I did every psychological trick in the book, therapy, did all the things. It wasn't until, and I worked on loving myself, right? I got to certain levels of that. I'm not saying I didn't. But I want you to get until I learned to be still and to get connected to that divine presence. I'd never experienced a knowing of myself as a loved being like I do now. And I know that when I connect up to that, I start being someone. I start acting like I'm someone in the world who is loved. Now, this is important to me. I want to live in a world where people know they're loved. You can look at there's research on even water, right? But there's tons of research you can go look up about plants, right? And when you talk to plants lovingly, when you love them, right? When you talk to them, even touch them, love them, they flourish and they grow. And there's been studies of plants where you talk mean to them or you ignore them or you yell at them, they shrivel up, right? we humans are plants that when you add a little love to us, we blossom, right? We start to grow in ways that we haven't known ourselves like that before. And I want to live in a world where people act as though they're loved. Because when you feel like you're not loved, if you are someone who feels like nobody loves me, then it's okay to just be a jerk, right? It's okay just to like act, who cares, right? Why would you invest in yourself and your life if you feel like you're unloved? But when you start to connect, right? When you really are willing to like really connect, I swear to you, you will not be able to do that for very long without starting to have a knowing of yourself when you have that connection of someone that is loved. And when you feel loved, you become someone who's loving. You become someone who knows their own power and their own power to impact other people. So practicing being connected, practicing being in the silence, and just any time that you can connect to your source and experience that, if you can see it as love and experience that love, it's super powerful, and it builds resilience, because the more you feel loved, the more power you feel in your life. And so it builds on that resilience. The last thing I would invite you to do is to find support. If you're not already somebody who comes to Unity on a regular basis, we are a faith community that gives a ton of support to me. Find a group, a meetup group, anybody who's practicing spirituality or exploring it, so that you get a chance to play and explore inside of it and be a student and learn. I put myself in a role of a student anytime I can. I have mentors in my groups, and I mean, I couldn't live without these people. I love these people. And they not only in my groups, for example, we see all of each other as teachers and students. Like some days I'm the teacher, some days I'm the student. Like we learn from each other and we build our resilience, right? Our spiritual resilience, which gives us an opportunity to feel connected and powerful all the time. So we know that the brain is elastic. We know that we can literally shift and change it. And if you're someone who's ruminating a lot or worrying a lot, we really want to do that, because that's not a happy place to be, right? It doesn't feel good. And so we really want to work on your ability to be resilient, right? And so I want to start now, since meditation is part of this practice. I want to take us into a meditation. So if you're not already comfortable, get comfortable. For some of you, you might want to plant your feet on the ground. Some of you like to lay down. Some of you like to sit in a yoga pose. I just want you to get wherever you want to get. You're at your house, you get comfortable wherever you are. And I'd like to take a couple of deep breaths, and then I'd like you to huh them out. So we're going to do it 3 times. First one, deep as you can. Out as far as you can. When you're feeling that exhale, I'd like you to see if you can feel the relaxation come. Now, if you can just focus on my voice. Wherever you are, I'd like to have you consider that you have some strong vines or cables coming out of the bottom of your feet, going down through the building that you're in, busting through the rock and the sediment, picking up leaves and twigs and vines and silt along the way, busting through, down, down, down through layers upon layers, to finally get to the center of the earth, the heart of the mother. I'd like you to imagine wrapping your vines or cords or cables that are attached to your feet. I'd like you to wrap that around the core of the earth. Wrap it around, anchor it, so you're solidly anchored into the core of the earth, the heart of the mother. And now that you're anchored, I want you to feel that good earth energy coming back to you, coming back up through those vines or those cables, busting up through the rock, through the shale, through the sediment, up through all the layers, back up into the floor of your house, coming up to your feet in wherever position you're in. Feel that grounded, good earth energy coming up through your toes, up to your ankles. Feel that good earth energy, that earthy, good energy grounding you up your calves and your knees, up around your thighs, and up over your pelvis, up to your waist. And I'd like you to stop right there. You are grounded and you are planted and you belong here. Now I'd like you to take your focus to your crown chakra, right at the top of your head. I'd like you to open it up. And I would like you to bring down then from your source light. I want you to feel it or notice it like sunshine, like when you've stepped out of the cold into a sunshine, and it feels warm. And it's coming down into your crown chakra, coming down over your third eye, over your eyes and your nose and your mouth, down into your throat chakra. Feel that light, that source energy coming down over your throat chakra and down into your heart. Take it all the way down into your heart and your solar plexus and just stop. Now you're like a plant. You're grounded there and you have this light. And now, even if you have to do it physically, you can, but I'd like you to throw open the shutters on your heart. Like you can imagine yourself throwing open shutters. Throw open the shutters on your heart. And I want you to be open-hearted for this next conversation. As you connect, feel that source energy coming down through your crown chakra into your heart now. And as you've opened your heart, I want you to imagine that it is flowing out of you, mixing with that grounded energy and bursting out into the universe as you, connecting and connected to your source. This source that adores you. And as you sit there and just feel this source, I want you to imagine as it's trickling, it could be a trickle, hopefully it's a shower, but I want you to see it as love. Love trickling down over your head, face, third eye into your heart and coming forth out into the universe. You are being showered with love. 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 That's all your source wants. That's all it wants to do is connect and love you so that you know yourself as a loved human being. As we sit here for a few minutes in the silence, I invite you to be still. Be still. Be still and know. Be still and know that you are loved. Be still in the silence. As you start to come back, take a deep breath. I'm going to leave you with a quote by Marianne Williamson from her book, A Return to Love, A Lesson in the Course in Miracles. Because I want to remind you that your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you're powerful beyond measure. As you're coming back to me, wiggle your fingers and your toes. I'm reminding you of who you are. Your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you're powerful beyond measure. And it is your light, not your darkness, that most frightens you. So you ask yourself, who am I to be gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of the universe, and you're playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We're all meant to shine, as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of the universe that is within you. And it's not just some of you, it is in every one. And as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As you're liberated from your own fear, your presence automatically liberates others. Thank you so much for being with me today. Thank you for being with yourself and for practicing becoming a spiritually resilient human. And I hope that if you're looking for a community to connect spiritually with, that you'll come back to Unity, because we're a powerful, powerful bunch. So thank you for having me. Namaste.
It's just an ordinary day. It's just an ugly little game some like to play. But the power grows with words, full of hate, the message heard, and the players are carried away. May the wrong turn to right is the only move left to us, to leave and give up the fight. I want to see this land filled with liberty, and I long to see all faces raised in dignity. I have come to feel the peace where we agree, and I have come to believe in the power of humility. One extraordinary day, hands are busy calling moments play by play, with stripes of mud upon the children's snowman friends, with stripes of blood upon the Capitol descend, and it's to the stars and stripes we go, and then we turn within. We hold the lamp, we hold the hands, we rise and start again. And I want to see this land filled with liberty, to believe in the power of humanity. I have come to be exactly who I came here to be. And I have come to dream the world into its being. I have come to seek the spirit of diversity. And I will rise to see the beauty in everything. The beauty in everything.
Thank you, Catherine, for that beautiful song, and thank you, Jay, for your presentation. And now it's time to give thanks and offering. I invite you to join me as we hold our gifts to this community in our hands and love in our hearts. Let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Join Holly in singing Pour Yourself in Me by Ricky Byers Beckwith. Please go online and give via PayPal or write a check and mail it to Unity of Lawrence. Thank you.
Pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, pour your joy in me, pour your joy into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, shine your light in me, shine your light into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit, sing your song in me, sing your song into my heart. Oh, wonderful Spirit. Oh, wonderful Spirit.
Oh, let us just relax into that space where we know that we are loved and that there is an abundance of love in this world, and it surrounds and flows through us. and that we can share and return that love to each other through kindness, through compassion, and through the sharing of our talents, our time, and our treasures. And we bless our spiritual community with those things, and we are blessed by that. We give thanks, and so it is. Amen.
When a heart is parched and stops looking for water, when a heart is restless and stops looking for sleep, when a heart is cold and it can't find shelter, no love brings laughter, no pain makes it weep, and it's a desert heart that don't mind the sun, and it's a desert rain that seldom comes. There's life in the desert that you never see, heart like a desert, waiting patiently, heart like a desert, waiting patiently. When it lies in the seed, the flower dreams in peace, asleep in the earth until the tender hand of rain like a lover come to bring release, and sun like a kiss upon the desert sand, and it's a desert heart that don't mind the sun, and it's a desert rain that seldom comes. There's life in the desert that you never see, heart like a desert, waiting patiently, heart like a desert, waiting patiently. And after the rain, the desert comes to life, and everything hidden comes to light. In the space of a day, it blooms and dies, till grace like a blanket comes with the night, and it's a desert heart that don't mind the sun, and it's a desert rain that seldom comes. There's life in the desert that you never see, heart like a desert, waiting patiently,
Thank you again, Catherine, for that beautiful music. Now it's time for announcements. Our church annual meeting is today. Please stay on Zoom after the service for this important congregational meeting. Members will vote on the new board members, the 2021 budget, and review 2020. The annual report is available on our website or on the recent e-news bulletin. Remember that our website is updated regularly with new information about continuing and upcoming events of interest to our Unity community. Please check us out at www.unityoflawrence.org. Even though the building is closed, the church office is open. Please contact Kathy by phone 785-841-1447 or email info@unityoflawrence.org if you have feedback about our services, need more information, or have a request. Join us next week as Danica Moore brings us Disregarding the Wrong Things, special music with C.S. Luxem. And now it's time to bless our youth and bless each other. Let's rub our hands together and say with me, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divinity in you. Now let's sing the original peace song with Steve Epley.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our children all are we. Let us walk with each other, perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Now the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. We invite our speaker and others to stay online for a few minutes to visit via Zoom, and then we will be having our annual meeting. Thank you, everyone.